Hello, active and attractive ladies. How are you guys feeling today? I am back and I just rewatched the video from last week, and so I'm just feeling very smiley right now because not only did you guys watch the video from last week where I cried and I shared my heart and I shared all of the different pieces of me that just the last few weeks have really brought to the table. And sharing my story, you guys met me there. I got DMs from you, I've gotten comments from you, and I just want to let you know my heart is overwhelmed with the love that you guys have given. And I haven't even seen you in person yet. Like, this is just through the phone. So I got into the group today. I just finished a workout. Got into the group today, rewatched my video. I always like to touch in and kind of get into the feeling of where we left off. And it made me smile really big to feel like I have a space to share my heart, but then also know that the women that I'm speaking to, we are creating an impact together. So this month, we are about to enter into July, which is my birthday month. This is crazy. I'm about to turn 35 on July 2nd. And I'm going to be teaching in the Women of Active and Attractive, my health membership for female leaders. And we're going to be doing a call right after this one today. And I know exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to live in the theme of celebration this month. And so my hope is to bring that over to you guys here inside of the community as well. But ultimately, the celebration I want us to experience here in this community is through the impact that we're able to bring to the world. So if you have been watching, well, let me start over. If you are watching right now, let me know that you're here. Say hello. If you are catching the replay, hashtag active and attractive, let me know that you're watching this video. I always love watching and reading your comments and seeing your engagement, seeing the points in these videos that are lighting you up, because for me, this is my whole heart. This is my impact. This is my effort and gift to the world. And so as I share what I love witnessing back is the point of impact. Because we're on the phone, I can't see your facial expressions. And because we're doing a video that's live in one moment and then it's a replay in another moment, I'm not able to really get to experience other than what it is that you share and comment. And so in light of impact and in light of celebration, and in light of transitioning out of the conversations we've been having and into the theme of what does impact really look like for you as a leader, I look forward to engaging with your comments and sharing space and time with you here. So let's do this thing. We're pivoting. We're going on into another arena, because what we're doing is inside of the Active and Attractive. If you are new, the mission is health and leadership. We are here to bring health to you as a leader so that you can walk and talk in your greatness. Your body is strong, your energy is high, and your mind is operating at its most clear. We want that your heart is expressed and that your energy is overflowing, because when you show up in your best self, when you do encounter people and you have a moment of impact, your impact is not small because you're not having the best day. It's not small because life feels like it's crumbling underneath your feet. You're really able to be amplified and open because you know who you are, you've been taking care of yourself, and you're willing to be visible no matter what. Now, the journey, the process of developing this autonomy in self, this willingness to be visible, this willingness to show up and share and be available, it's a process, it's a journey, and it's taken us months just to get to this point in the conversation. But the idea is that you are a leader. You have taken on the responsibility of being a visionary, a woman who walks around receiving ideas and thoughts and words and wisdom and downloads for the next step in your life and your family's life and your client or your friends' lives. You see things and you feel it as your responsibility to go out and execute. We call this world building. World building is you recognizing that you understand you're responsible for helping build the world that we all live in. But first, in order to build the world, we want to make sure that we prioritize building your world first. So your world is key, and your world is you. Your world is your needs. It's your desire, it's your wants, it's your personality, it's where you've been, it's what you've seen. And we have a process called the 3 days of world building where we dive into your identity and really get clear on what you stand for, what you're all about, what do you like, what are your flavors. I grew up not having a clue what that was because I was so attentive to other people. I had such high people-pleasing skills that I really knew how to take care of you. I could tell you what your world was made of. I could tell you what you wanted. I could pick clothes out from you at the store. Like, I knew what my people needed, and I tended to that, and I nurtured that, and I stewarded fantastic relationships from that. But where it left me was feeling burnt out. And so although as a leader, I knew I was called to helping people, my help always exceeded my capacity. And I burnt out, and I started to resent folks, and I started to resent myself. And I found myself really finding lots of caffeine and just different stimulants to try to keep myself going. And when I would try to take care of myself, I would start and stop and start and stop because I didn't know how to find a motivation within myself. Living life like this as a self-declared leader, whether we decide that we're a leader or not, at the end of the day, all of us are, because we feel responsible for someone. And even if we don't, we need to feel responsible for ourselves. Self-leadership is still a part of the equation. And as a leader, I was tired all the time. This bled from high school into college. It bled through into my master's degree. But it definitely showcased itself whenever I got into my career as a personal trainer and moved into helping other people. When money transactions started to come into the equation, I really knew I was supposed to show up for these people at a high level because I found a gym that was working with very affluent people who had lots of money, so they paid a lot of money for their sessions. But my worth did not match what I was being given. And so I found myself constantly perpetuating this momentum of I need to be better, I'm not good enough, I need to go out there, I need to pressurize something, I need to push harder, I need to fight for this, I need to build my business, I need to make my clients happy. Although I was teaching health, I wasn't living it. And although I was working in a gym and working out when it was convenient, at the end of the day, I really wasn't healthy. And so what I learned was that in leadership, I still needed to take care of myself. Now, the problem with my mission of taking care of myself was I didn't have a clear sense of my identity. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know who I was. I really couldn't even tell you what I liked. And so when I was on the dating field, I felt like I hated going on dates because they felt like little mini interviews, and you needed to answer the questions of what do you like to do in your free time, and where is it that you like to go? What are your dreams for your life? And I'm like, I like to go to work and I like to help my people. That's all I knew. And it wasn't really much to share. It wasn't much to show. And I can see why dating didn't really work out well for me in the beginning. But as I began to piece together subconsciously that it was the lack of understanding myself, and it was my inability to maintain consistency and truly taking care of my health at a level that was right for me. The overall atmosphere that I presented to people was good until it wasn't. My presence had the ability to be really big, and then it could shrink depending on the day. What mostly happened was that I was really big for people, but then when I'd go home for myself, I'd be small. And over the years, I realized there was a problem here. Something about this wasn't good. Something about this wasn't right, but I didn't know how to fix it. And within the more recent years, and asking myself, what with my clients has allowed some of them to be successful in their health and some of them to still be struggling, I realized that it was the people who had a strong sense of identity, who knew what their gifts were, who knew why they were here, who knew what their purpose was, who knew what their next goal was. Those people were the ones who were willing to take care of their health much more easily. And I started to notice that the reason they were willing to take care of their health was because they recognized without them, their purpose would not be fulfilled. They recognized that the people they were responsible for, or the people that would benefit from the product or service that they offered, they recognized that they would not be able to provide to those people without being able to continue going. They noticed that their health was holding them back. They noticed that they weren't sleeping well. They weren't taking care of their body. They were gaining weight. Their energy was low. They were stuffing themselves with food, that they were overstressed and they couldn't manage that stress. They realized that so many parts of their life was trying to go forward in purpose, but none of it was in self-maintenance. And so health to them was actually a tool. It was a tool to help them perpetuate further. It was a tool to help them go faster. It was a tool to make them feel better. And in finding and in stewarding my clients, I started realizing that my clients thought they wanted to just become physically attractive. They wanted to become physically different, when in all actuality, the journey to their greatness came in the process. It was the work they had to put in. It was the person they had to become to show up at the gym early in the morning, to actually follow through on eating healthy after they had made the commitment to me, to push in their workouts when it started getting hard and uncomfortable, to find themselves and find rest in the chaos of exercise. They had to find another part of their minds and decide that they were going to love this. That combination together ended up shifting their identity. And the character that came out on the other side ended up finding promotions at work. They ended up finding that they were accelerating their businesses. They started finding that their spouse, the person that they had been searching for our entire coaching relationship, they finally got married. I had clients that did all kinds of things that they know they never would have done if they had not taken care of their health. And as their coach, watching them from a distance, when I could step back and really look at their journey, what I saw was, wow, these are people who are just radiating differently. They're vibrating differently. The version of them that was tired and sluggish and angry and didn't want to be there, now they're happy and light and healthy and excited to do the next thing. Two different people. I realized that their atmosphere, the way they walked around, they interacted with people differently. They had more energy. They had more intentionality. They had more purpose. They were more relaxed and more present, more creative, more alive. Their presence was different. And this is when I realized that presence is a combination of both our identity and our health. Us knowing who we are, and then also being willing to take care of that. Because when you know your value, when you know what gifts you bring to the world, and you recognize that without your gifts, the world does not get better, you end up realizing that I'm worthy of being taken care of. So you value your health, not just in your body, but in the way you communicate, in the way you have healthy relationships, and the way you think healthy thoughts, and the way you connect to your spirituality healthfully. You find different ways to make sure everything feels purified and in honor of who you are. But you can't find health. You can't rest a strong foundation on health without the identity. So people who would try to do health, they would be in this perpetuated state of starting and stopping and trying to find motivation and not having it. But the reason they weren't able to maintain it was because they didn't have a strong sense of self. So identity and health combined, presence. Presence, the way I describe it, is that aura, that thing that is on you that people feel when you walk into a room. It's that feeling that people get, and they don't have words for it, but it's almost like your presence is speaking for you and you've never opened your mouth. Your presence is the descriptors that people use to describe you, the impressions that they get of you. And when you don't feel connected to your presence, you shy away, you feel smaller. This is a lack of connection with identity. When you feel like you kind of know who you are, but you haven't been taking care of yourself, the knowing of who you are, your presence is here, but it's kind of small. When you've ran, when you've exercised, when you've eaten clean, when you've had a good night rest, your energy is bigger. And you have this huge atmosphere that people can see, they can feel, they can interact with, and they end up having their own thoughts that are like, oh, who is this woman? She's bold, she's sassy, she's sexy, she's fun, she has laughter, she's calm, she's confident, she's quiet, she's sturdy, she's discerning, she's witty. All of the different layers that make up you are what people feel, and they're going to be different than other people. but it is your presence that must be connected to first before you reach the power of impact. Why? Because without your presence, you can't reach the next pillar of leadership. Out of the 3 pillars of leadership, presence is the first. But the second pillar is that once you get your presence, once you situate your world, you live in it, you love it, you operate from it, you start building your personal life to match your world. Your home gets better, your body gets better, your relationships get better, the back end of your business gets better. Everything begins to improve and starts to feel healthy to you. You feel supported, you feel alive, you feel awake, you feel ready to go. And you feel ready to tackle whatever life is bringing to you because you know you've got your back. And you know exactly what you're here to bring to the table. When you feel this way, your presence is big. And then this brings you to the second pillar, which is the pillar of visibility. Visibility is what happens whether you want to or not. Because friend, when you are feeling yourself, oh my gosh, people are like, who is she? They say that. Who is she? What is that? She's got something. I feel like I want to lean in a little bit more. When you honor yourself and you love yourself at a level that is worthy, people start to notice that. And so the second work of a leader is to try her darndest to maintain her willingness to be seen, which is visibility. Visibility also has 2 pieces. Visibility is when people can see you because you're not hiding, you're not shying away. When you're just out here being yourself and you're walking and you're talking and you're on your mission and you're in your purpose and you're utilizing your gifts, you're listening to people you love, you're talking, speaking life into the things that you admire, and you're just doing life however you know you're meant to do it. People start noticing because you're visible to them. There's nothing for you to hide. When you step into the realm of visibility, what happens is you have to know 2 things. First is you have to know your message. Your message is the first piece of visibility. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up because they're like, Sammy, I don't know my message. What am I supposed to say? And it's like, whoa. Hey, look, your message is simple. This is what it is. You have a thought and you speak it. You think a thought, and then you speak it. There's a thought, and then you speak it. You see something, there's a thought, and you speak it. Visibility in your message is your ability to communicate your thoughts without hesitance, without fear. Many of us have been silenced a good majority of our lives in different ways. Maybe you were the loud one, maybe you weren't loud enough. Maybe you were too observant. Maybe you weren't observant enough. Maybe you were too jokey and playful, and maybe you were too serious. There's so many ways that we get stifled in our mouth and we get tight in our throat because we're afraid to speak what we're thinking. But if you can imagine when you're really feeling yourself, those thoughts kind of want to roll out of your mouth. And the idea is you start to practice that. You become more comfortable with your message. And the big message that your brand speaks and the big message that you have for all these thousands of people, at the end of the day, when you're really operating in integrity and you're not manufacturing a message that you think other people want to hear, your message is as simple as what you think. Your message is as simple as what you believe. It's the stories you've experienced. It's the past that you've witnessed. It's the life that you desire. It's the wants and the hopes and the dreams that you have. It's the ideas that come to your mind. It's the solutions that you see for problems around you. Your message is your voice. It's what you think. And it's the vision that you're given. When you feel comfortable enough to speak that message, the next piece is, can you speak it anywhere? The second point of visibility is that when you are visible, you have your visibility and your message, but then visibility and consistency. Consistency, the second part of visibility, is can you consistently just turn your voice out, speak comfortably, Speak comfortably, but then where do you step? Where do you go? And then you shrink. When are you, someone walks in and they make you shrink? When do you feel comfortable talking to someone and then someone has something as a character trait that you see as a pedestal or even a fear response and you go back into your tight throat? Consistency in your message is also showing up on social media. Being consistent and regularly pulling from your soul and speaking your heart. Some days out of the week, you're really good at speaking your voice, but then stressful times come in and then you stop. Consistency is wherever you stand, you are valuable. Can you remember that? When you're really taking care of your health and you're standing in your identity, it's a lot easier. But it still takes practice, because when you open up and you share yourself, what happens is people are now able to say something. They can comment on something about you. They can comment on the perspective or the take you have. They might say that your way is wrong. They might pick at your hair. They might tell you that you're ugly. They might say all kinds of things. When you are visible, you are now not just you. You're inviting people into your atmosphere. But what we forget is that we're always in control. And our visibility is up to us. The beauty of visibility is that you are not being visible to change other people. You are being visible to express yourself, to get it out, to pour it out onto the earth. When you see yourself as a world builder, you are here to build the world. Therefore, what you speak and the actions you take with your hands are meant to infect the world in their own way. But you're not here to change people. You're not here to dominate and tell other people how to be. You're here to just be. What would you be doing if no one else was around? That is true visibility. Health and visibility is you being you everywhere you go. If you are the fluttery princess who loves pink, can you do that in a boardroom? When you know that you are the serious one in the family and everyone's full of jokes, can you be who you are without feeling the need to deviate and pretend like you're someone else? Visibility is the first area that we want to abandon our identity. But as true leaders, if we want effortlessness in our impact as leaders, we can't forfeit ourselves. And if you can imagine, if health is the propeller for your identity to stay persistent, imagine how you shrinking and how you holding back is an unhealthy action. Whereas if you continuously stand in your essence and you continuously be who you are and you continuously show up, how that will instill and reinforce health within you. This is the most powerful thing. It's the most powerful thing. And imagine we have 3 pillars. This is the second one. So these stack on top of each other. It's identity first, health second, knowing your message and speaking it, and being consistent in doing that everywhere you stand. We want you. The world wants you. The world is waiting for you to build what you're here to build. And the building is in the visibility. When you nail all of these pieces, going in to be a leader whose intention is to create an impact. Impact on the earth, impact in the world, impact with people, impact in their family, impact with themselves. Creating an impact or a shift, a change, a transformation is what we're here to do. The problem is that we've done it in the past. In my case, I did it in the past all the time, but I did it out of order. I did impact first, hoping I can maintain my visibility, and then I'd shrink and leave myself in understanding what I needed last. It burnt me out. There was nothing left to give. There's nothing left to give. And so then I'd try to do impact the next day, and there was no health, no self-identity. I didn't understand myself anymore. And so I wasn't willing to be as visible. I started slowly shrinking over time. And then the world was like, hey, we need you. Come help us out. And I'm like, that's what I meant to do. It was hard to maintain my visibility and my purpose and executing my impact as a leader, as a woman who knows she's here to help. I couldn't do it because I didn't have a strong foundation. And so this is the catch up on what we've been doing over the last few months here, talking about each of these individual pieces, laying the foundation for us to play with and see where we can add improvements. Because ultimately, you are a leader, which means you are here to have an influence on the world around you. Now, I want to emphasize that impact is influence. Impact is not force. Impact is not even expectation. I want to be abundantly clear that when I say we are leaders, it is under the premise of understanding that there are people out there who crave change. They want change. They wish they could change. They just need to believe. They need to know how. They need a system to practice. They need a space to understand themselves. They need to see someone else doing it. Impact is not, I'm going to change your mind about how you're supposed to be. Impact is me trusting that someone has instilled in you a desire to be bigger than where you're at right now. Therefore, when I stand in my grace, my greatness, my gifting, my power, my purpose, my identity, when I can stand in that and you look at me and you see something that you know you want for yourself too, then, only then can our human brains, our brains are set up in a really interesting way. Our human minds are set up in a very interesting way. Our human brains then can finally believe that maybe, just maybe, it's possible for me too. Now, the way this concept gets perverted is that we look at other people who are operating in their greatness, who are leading or influencing ideas. We think that as people observing greatness in someone else, that now their greatness means we're less than. That's not how it goes. If we all had a strong sense of identity, of self, when I look at you and I see what's great in you, I might see one piece that I'm like, ooh, can you teach me about how you handle that? Can you tell me the story that you've navigated to anchor that understanding of that truth in? How did you get there? What were you thinking? What do you do now? Can you share with me? Because I feel whole except for this one piece. And I would love to add that into my world from learning from your world. It's a sense of self-responsibility and understanding that each of us should be self-responsible. But what happens is that when people, or even ourselves, we don't have a strong self-identity, when we look at other people, our thinking is to take on someone else's identity. We need to be like them, or even worse, we need to be better than them. When we get this better mentality, it's, I need to sit on top of you. I need to trump you. I need to overcome you. I need to dominate you. And that's not how impact and transformation is meant to work. Influence is, I'm already standing in the garden. You are already a beautiful flower standing in the garden. I get to observe you if you let me. I get to observe how you move if you stay visible. I get to understand your inner workings to see if there's anything in you that I can learn too, because you know yourself and how you function. But if you diminish yourself, if you hold back, if you don't make yourself visible, if you don't steward your own health, I can't see you, which means I can't get what I need in order to grow. This is the deficit, I believe, in our world right now. And in order to grow, we all typically approach it from a place of either that person is better than me, which makes me here, Or because they're here, I need to be better than them. And now I've put us in a position of competition. There's no impact or influence in growing out of spite. There's no impact, healthy impact or influence in trying to overcome. And what's even worse is when people see themselves here knowing that they know something that other people don't know, and they need to impact, and I need to tell you how to do it, and I need to tell you the best steps, and I need to tell you the best process. We get into this place of leading people and impacting people through expectation, and that there is only one way, which is my way. We end up forcing people who are all here with us into categorical hierarchies that do not do any of us justice. The hierarchies don't serve our deep inherent worth. And the truth is that you are worthy, I'm worthy, and we're all worthy. True world building is recognizing that when you put your feet on the earth and your atmosphere touches it, it touches others. It naturally, when you're congruent, healthy, big, open, visible, it is naturally able to create this influence. It's a feeling people get from you. It's an observation of people watching you show up. It's people paying attention to how you handle conflict. It's people watching how you prioritize your health. It's your kids asking you questions on how to handle a bully. But then seeing how you handle bullies. It's your spouse who's stuck in maybe his routines, seeing how you handle the same pattern differently and get a different result. Influence is not you telling people what to do. Influence is sharing how you do what you do. It's so beautiful. To me, it's so beautiful. I think it's so beautiful because guess where the freedom lies for everyone? For them, there's no pressure from you. There's no get up, do it like this, hurry up, you're doing it wrong. They don't feel shame and guilt for not getting it yet. It also creates freedom because it allows them space to come to the conclusion on their own. I'm sure so many of you guys understand now, back in our younger years, why there may have been some issues with our parents or, just trying to, like the people in our lives that caused us to feel small. They didn't give us space to figure something out on their own. And so we ended up feeling like we took action out of expectation, but the motivation wasn't from within us. It was from external motivations. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves only being able to take action through people's external validation, through their fear of what we're not going to be able to do. And now we're perpetually taking action and leading, but it's coming from a place of low worth, lack of worthiness. And then the people disappear. We're not motivated. We still don't know what we want. We're still trying to figure things out. We can't get there. It sets the person who we're influencing up in a negative way because what's needed to take action and to move and to really lead is autonomy. Autonomy is built through experience. And leaders, good leaders, in my opinion, know how to create spaces for their clients, for their patients, for their friends, for their family, for their kids, for their spouse, for their whoever's, to figure it out themselves. But that requires a lot of patience. This is why we have to be good at taking care of ourselves in the meantime as leaders. The other reason there's so much freedom in leading through influence, through how we do things, is that we do not have to take on other people's journeys, other people's paces, other people's stories. in order to have a positive influence on them. We don't have to carry their load. When we wake up, we get to ask ourselves, what do I want to do today? What do I want to do today? When we choose what we want to do from our hearts, from our truth, from our desires, what ends up happening is we end up moving in the way we would naturally move. Then we find ourselves getting supernatural results. We receive things out of joy. We find patience. We take care of ourselves, so then we feel energy to go out and do bigger things. We follow our courage and we do big, brave, scary things, and we know that we've got our backs, and there's something to always fall on in our lives that we've built for ourselves because we're supported. We've built our world to support us. When we do things, we do it in our own style. We do it in our own pace. We do it in our own will because we have a connection that's constantly leading us. And when we follow that, we don't have to do something different because we need to change someone else. We end up changing them by them observing us. It is a very child, it's like primal. It's primal in us from the time we were children to learn the best from watching. So if we really wanted to teach, if you look at the cognitive development model, mirroring and mimicking is one of the most foundational ways that people learn. And so when they're encountering you, you might be the first time someone has ever seen somebody do that way, which means in that regard, they are immature in this one skill. So when they watch you, they're going to see you as someone they want to mimic. And if you change how you would naturally flow into your greatness, into your gifts, and into receiving or building whatever it is that you're receiving or building, if you change the way you would do it just because someone else is watching, both of you aren't going to receive. And both of you guys aren't going to learn how to build. It is the scariest thing in my experience to let this go. This trust that is required. There's a trust that is required to know that my actions are enough to deeply impact someone else who's just watching. I want to teach you. I want to tell you. I want to make sure you don't go off the road. I don't want you to hurt like I hurt. I don't want you to feel how bad I felt. I want to fix it. I want to fix it for you. I want to make it. Autonomy. We hold space. We trust. Leadership is granting the student the opportunity to come to conclusions on their own. Have you ever been in a position where you actually had a mentor or a leader or a teacher, someone who was sharing or showcasing something to you, and they really knew how to hold space for you to run into yourself? They knew how to let you fall off and make mistakes and mess up and stand up and get back up. And they were graceful when you had questions, and they were graceful whenever, in the way that they taught you. They taught more in story than in dictation and how you need to do it. I believe that there are times and moments where structure and discernment and more of that teaching model is very, very important, but there's an art to it. It's a timing thing, and it's not the whole picture. The whole picture, in my experience, is creating space through through influence, and that's what creates impact. My best teachers lived what they had me do. They lived what they had me do. One of my favorite mentors, I still think about her to this day, and I haven't talked to her in probably 10 years. She was the woman who ran our group exercise instructing department at the rec center at Texas A&M University. Absolutely magnificent woman. And she was in her mid 50s, if not maybe closer to 60s, I think. And she was just fit, right? And we had a team of 40 girls, okay? College girls, which I don't really experience a lot of like girl drama, but I know it's very common for large groups of girls to get together and go, we had none of that. None of that. We were efficient. We were professional. We always won best in our group exercise. We had like meets where we had to do like little choreographed things, and we competed against other schools in the States. And we came together and we were almost always, if not number one, we were the top, but we were so happy and healthy. It was just such a healthy environment, especially for young women. And one of the things I noticed about her, I was like, why does this feel so good? Like, we all want to be on time. We want to be here. We want to. And she had a bit of a strict hand, but there was so much love and so much space from her. And she was always willing to answer questions. One of the things that I realized was why we respected her so much was because we were the ones going to class, getting there on time, memorizing our choreography, not having notes like other people normally would have. We had our music there. We got there 15 minutes early. We had our microphone set up. We had all the equipment. Everything was crisp, like we were sharp. And this woman did not teach us this by sitting in her offices on the second story of this building. Every week, on top of her administrative tasks, on top of her having a boss, on top of her having to run all 40 of us, on top of her making sure we're all getting paid and doing all the things and just this large university, on top of all of her responsibilities on her schedule, she too still taught classes. She had anywhere from 2 to 4 classes every week, every single week. She didn't need to teach those classes. But what it did was it kept her in our shoes. It gave us an opportunity to go to her classes and see how she held the space. We were able to talk with her and jest with her. It helped her remember what we're experiencing, and we got to experience what she knew. She wasn't dictating and commanding from above. She was communicating at our level. And as we're juggling school and going to class and doing organizations and going out and partying and doing all kinds of learning life for the first time, this woman was juggling all of her same stuff too. She had kids, she had a family. The way she led was through influence, and it impacted us. To this day, I still can feel like part of my excellence is from having been in her atmosphere, in her presence. She didn't force us. We could leave at any time. We didn't have to be around that level of expectation, but we wanted to. And it wasn't from a place of approval from her. It was because we knew that she was doing good works and we wanted to do good works. So she became a steward of her craft, and we got to learn from her firsthand. I just feel so sad thinking that she has to have been retired by now. I really need to go check in and see how she's doing. She has to be retired right now. And I'm like, there's like no one. I don't think there's going to be anyone that could hold the space that she did. So joyful, so much older. She's goals for me in my 60s. This is the power of influence. But a lot of times we don't trust that people are going to take themselves there. We don't trust that people are not going to hurt us. We don't trust that if we make a commitment with someone that they're not going to break it. We have to still hold ourselves in a high regard. And the question is, how do you do that? The first thing that you can start with is knowing yourself. It starts with that identity. You can't have a magnetic presence. You can't hold space for other people. You can't perpetually show up every day if you're not taking care of yourself. You can't continue to stay visible so that people can experience your influence if you don't know your message and you're not practicing consistently sharing who you are everywhere you go. When you have the first 2 pillars as a foundation, then the pillar we're going to step into in July, impact. It consists of these pieces, but I wanted to set this up because we're going to go into what it really looks like to create true, effortless, empowering impact that lasts a lifetime for people. Guys, this is going to be so good if you are a parent, if you are the woman who's married and you're like, I want my husband to get healthier, but he's not doing anything, and I've forced him and I've tried and it's not working. It's like, you have to model it first. If you are wanting to expand your business, you're wanting to reach more people, you feel like your business is this just kind of monotonous and you're not really expressed, you're not feeling like people are sticking around, there's no high retention in your process, the question in my mind, if we were working together, is what are you sharing? What are you sharing with people? Are you sharing yourself? Are you modeling what you teach? If you're selling products or you're selling services and the launches aren't going through, how well are you living what you're teaching on the other side? Are you going and you're talking about sales, but you're not doing what it really takes to get good sales? Are you selling a product around health and you're not taking care of your health? It's all about integrity, because all of that is felt in your atmosphere. If you want to see an increase in your impact and in your income, if you want to see more growth, if you want to see more influence on your family, you want to see people in your life change, it has to come from you first. But what's required is your resilience. You can't waver in who you are when rubber really meets the road. If you're wanting to build big things, if you have big vision, if you have a big life that you want to create for just yourself or for the people around you, you have to know the first two things, because if you don't, you're going to waver. To create effortless impact, you have to be willing to watch people steer like this until they finally stable out and go straight. You have to hold space for that. To be feminine, in my mind, has always been to be able to hold trust and space. In order to hold trust and space, you have to create that with yourself first. Hence all of the videos before this one, because it's the inner work game and it's the willingness to be seen game first. If you want to have effortless impact, for it to feel like you're effortlessly creating a change with every conversation you come up with. Marilyn, hi! If you guys have been commenting, I've not seen one. This is the first one I'm seeing. Oh, this makes me so happy. If you know that you are here and you're meant to bring purpose to the world, it doesn't even have to be big purpose. It could be just in your small community. If you know that the change you see, the vision you see for the people around you, they're going to, like, if they could see what you see, that's how it feels. It's like, if you just knew what I knew. It's not through your words, not just through your words. Manifestation happens through your actions too. So speaking out of one side of your mouth and doing something else, we got to cut that. And if it doesn't fit integrally into your life, it's not that you're doing something bad. You're not a bad person because it takes work. But because you haven't traveled the mountain all the way to the top to embody what it is that you're expecting other people to do, you're going to see them slide off at the same point that you're sliding off. So it's not a call to say, oh, you're a bad leader, you're bad at this, you're bad. It's a call to say it's time to evolve yourself. It's time to upgrade your story. It's time to go further. It's time to be bigger. It's time to reach more. Yesterday we talked about, last week, Angelia, hi guys. Oh my God, I'm so happy you guys are showing up. Hi. I think that what we want to remember is that when you were trying to go forward and create impact, what I talked about last week when I shared with you guys my story, you cannot create impact in areas that you yourself have not been impacted. It's a little bit of a torturous place, I think, that happens in the universal laws of whatever. But we have to, the most impactful places we can influence people are through the places we ourselves have walked. So when we're expecting our children to be different, but we ourselves have not made it there, if we want them to be bigger and bolder and not so shy, but we ourselves are not big, bold, and not shy, the words are coming out of our mouth, but the modeling is different. We must show people what it looks like to be kind, to be trusting, to have faith, to be peaceful, to be patient, to be love, to be ambitious, to go for it without sacrificing ourselves, to be healthy, to be light, to be strong, to be meticulous, to be detailed, all of the different characteristics, we have to embody it first. And that means that, wait a second, my whole journey of impact is actually just me working on me all day? The answer is yes. because you cannot overflow to others. We're only operating in overflow. You cannot overflow to others what you do not have yet built out in yourself. When I found this out, I was like, I hate myself so much. 2 reasons. 1, I was trying to teach people things that I wasn't doing myself. I hated that. That was so out of integrity. I thought I was, because they got it. We all got it cognitively, but that's where they stopped too. They only understood what I was saying. It didn't gel into their life and make a huge impact. But the other part that I hated about myself was that I have been starving from all of these great things that the world has to offer: peace, love, joy, happiness, I was starving of it because I didn't go out and get it. I didn't go out and find it for myself. I found it in the little moments that was me giving to other people, and the intention was beautiful. It was sweet. It was cute. Go, Sammy, you love others. But when I didn't give it to myself, I didn't really know what I was giving to people. So I would give and give and give, and people would say, Sammy, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much. Let me give to you, Sammy. And I was like, no, what do you mean? I don't deserve that. I don't need that. It's okay. You don't have to. Oh my God, no. I was giving and I didn't know how to receive because I wasn't giving to myself. But now, because I finally, thank you, God, I finally learned how to love just the feeling of giving to myself. When people give to me, I'm like, I know what this took for you to give to me. Thank you. I really appreciate when people give now, because I appreciate that I give to other people, and I've been giving to myself. So the exchange, I can understand really what it feels like for them. It's not an inconvenience for them. It's not me taking from them to receive. It is their heart being extended out to me. And the feeling of me receiving to them feels like joy. But I didn't give that to myself to really know what it felt like. We do this in all little areas of what we want. Trust. We have trust issues, patience, we have impatience, anger, we have an issue with justice and feeling just in what we are standing for. We've got all little pieces just fragmented everywhere. And I want to tell you that it sounds like a horrible thing that it's fragmented, but friend, all of this can be amended. All of it. You can go get now. It's going to take work, but I want you to be able to set down the idea that you have to force other people to change. The most impactful change that you can make for them is to first make it within yourself. Scariest piece was that I realized in saying that, I remember the moment that I realized in saying that was me saying, Sammy, you get to be happy. Life gets to feel easy for you. And everything you want to work will work because you feel light. I had felt pain and stress and anxiousness and anger and frustration and wanting it to work and wanting them to feel. I wanted it so bad that it was hard. And being given the pass, the direction, the mission, the cue, the vision, that wait, it gets to feel easy for me. Like it is my ease that creates the change. That means I get to live the rest of my life happy. That was the hardest part. Realizing that happiness is the answer. And then all of a sudden, all the bumper stickers, all the magnets on people's refrigerators, all the happy, positive quotes that you hear, it all makes sense, just like that. But the wisdom to get to that understanding of just be positive. You can't just be given that as your information. You have to work yourself up into this realization. And my hope is that this live helps us start to do that. I know Tina, Yolanda, what's up, ladies? Marilyn, And Angelia, I know each of you guys, I know you have a conviction in your chest that you go to sleep at night because you know something around you, someone, something in the world is supposed to be different. You feel it. It might be personal stuff. It might be global things. You are called to it. You are called to it. Realizing that it is in your modeling behavior. It is in your perception of self. It is in you that this gets to be different. That thing happens first by taking the dagger out and realizing, oh my God, it's in my peace that I get to make a change. And it's in me walking through what I want other people to change. That when I get the thing, when I get that personality, the characteristic, that personality trait, when I get there, I will have a level of authority on what I am teaching, on what I am leading. I will have a level of authority, which in healthy authority, ladies, compassion is present. That you will be able to create spaces for people, free or paid, sporadic or planned. You will be able to create spaces for people to learn about themselves through your methods, through your experience, through your process. That sounds business jargony, but the truth is it is your process, your story. It's going to allow people to take that next step up the mountain to their success of embodiment. And we'll talk about that next week. So ladies, I'm glad I wore my workout clothes. I was going to take a shower beforehand, but quite honestly, a lot of these lives, secret, is that when I get on one, I sweat like a crazy person. And I'm sweating right now because this one just came barreling through me. And I really believe that what we have the capacity to do is great. I don't think greatness comes to the sacrifice of our well-being. I actually think it is our well-being that makes our greatness soar. So we are going to talk about this throughout July. We're going to carry this conversation forward. The first month of July, it's going to be 2 months, but the first month is going to be about your process and your story and all of these bits. We're going to break it all down so that it's something that you want to begin to share more. And my hope is if you run a business, it's also something that you're going to be able to help expand your business with. So we'll get there. We'll get there. My ladies, I love you. It's hard to receive at times. Oh my God, that was the struggle. So with that being said, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Like always, I appreciate your love and your presence and your compassion with me. I just cannot express in language. The English language does not allow me to express truly how I feel. And so I'm grateful for you.